not gonna hold that against every price. But I understand the frustration. I said the same, but it was no shit. Time for us to admit that. Yeah, time for us to maybe admit that Woodman's not the guy. It might be that. And I hate to do that to him because he had a devastating injury. What? Right. Good morning here from Hawaii. You are watching The Hangover, man. We got the Bucks game on in the background, but I don't want to show too much. I don't want to get flagged or something for that. Bucks and Saints on in the background. I'm calm this morning after last night's rant. So I think we're going to try to look at what happened last night in an objective way. And see what can Florida State do going forward. I'm also add in case anybody wants to join. I'm gonna add the link in the chat. What's going on, Tyler? I see you. And we're just gonna try to figure out, man. That's what's up. Yeah, I just decided out of the blue, why not start something new? And every Sunday, win, lose, or draw, we'll come on here and see what we're going to talk about. Recap Saturday after all the emotions are gone. Try to recap what happened yesterday, man, and see where we go from here. Also, with the NFL kickoff, we got some stuff going on in the background. Tom Brady makes his debut as a Buck. Bucks offense looks efficient. I'll say that. I know all the hype has died down after the big loss. Man, looking at some of these numbers, man, I tell you, they're kind of startling. Jeff Sims had over 300 total yards on us, man, running and throwing. 277 yards throwing the ball. 64 yards running the ball. They had over 150 yards, right? Or about 150 yards total rushing. Pretty crazy. I did have a big stream last night. It was everybody wanted to show up and either talk trash or vent, so that's what we were here for. What's going on, Chad? Appreciate you for tuning in. Just kind of looking objectively at this game, man. What can FSU do? As I look back on it, look back at some of the game highlights. I didn't criticize Norvell a lot last night, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna throw this criticism out there, man, because I'm looking at these numbers. Why did James Blackman attempt 43 passes, guys? I can't understand that one. I'm looking at these numbers, and I'm saying James Blackman completed 23 out of 43 for 109. We threw the ball 43 times. We had like half of that in rushing attempts, and a bunch of those were James Blackman scrambles. The only effective runner, Jordan Travis, averaged over 6 yards per carry and only got 6 attempts. Corbin only got 6 attempts. Webb had 13. Both running backs averaged 3 yards per carry. So I can sit here and I can admit that, you know what? The running backs weren't doing their thing. But why did you wait till the second half to implement the Wildcat with Travis, which I think we all thought we were going to see a lot earlier? And you just abandoned the run. Like, Norvell has to answer for that because the offense is his thing. He's the play caller. At what point, if I'm Mike Norvell, I'm watching this game. I'm watching James Blackman struggle. I'm watching James Blackman be ineffective in his reads and his decision making. Oh man, I'm telling you guys, go back and watch that. James Black. When I think if I was hard on, I'm not going to be hard on him today. This is the hangover, and we're going to be a little kumbaya. But go back and watch the highlights of the game. Not only did Black struggle, he just blatantly missed wide open. Like Keyshawn, there was a couple plays where Keyshawn Helton was running wide open downfield, and Black just didn't throw the ball. That's the type of stuff James Blackman has always been known for. And that's the type of thing I don't think they can fix with him and that he can change. And if I'm saying at what point does Norvell look at it at past 33? Do you not say maybe we should just stick to Jordan Travis, the Wildcat? Jordan Travis might not have a huge arm, but he can throw screen passes. I know he threw a pretty bad quick slant to McDonald where he threw the ball pretty much 5 yards behind him and in the dirt. But come on. Jordan Travis can throw a couple screen quick passes. You have to adjust. If that's one thing I think Mike Norvell is going to have to adjust going forward. He's going to have to. He's got to do something at that quarterback situation. We cannot go out there and throw the ball 43 times every game. My son's watching the game. Son's watching the game behind me. What's up, Chad? Chad says another tough this fall. Always going to support him. That's why I'm here. Win, lose, or draw, man. I've been down with Florida State from the beginning. This ain't going to change anything. It's just I'm just trying to think, what can they grow on going forward? I think they can grow on that offensive line. Again, I said it last night, man. I've never seen this game where every single one, I think everyone except for Bavion got hurt in that game last night on the starting offensive line. But when that starting offensive line was all together and starting, to me, they looked pretty legit. Am I saying they're the 2013 O-line? No. But they look pretty legit. Blackman had plenty of time. Oh, and by the way, if you had to guess, for the few people that's in the chat, if you want to drop a guess in the comments for me, who do you think, what offensive lineman do you think graded out the best on that offensive line? I'll give you guys time. We'll come back to it. And when I say grade out the best, he graded in the 80 percentile at that. Let's go to these defensive stats. We'll come back to that question, but we'll go to these defensive stats. Or let's look at the receiver. Jason Corbin actually led the team in receiving, which surprised me because I don't feel like I saw him catch a lot, but apparently he had 8 receptions for 55 yards. So he was your leading receiver. Tamarion Terry, 52 yards with 6 receptions. McDonald had 4 yards. McDonald had 4 yards for 41, 10 yards per catch. Warren Tunstall had 1 catch for 24 yards and 3 drops. Toafili, I felt like they should have used Toafili more too, man. They gave him 1 screen pass, and you see on this 1 screen pass, Toafili had 1 yard for 12. Again, I didn't criticize Norvell enough last night, but I'm going to criticize him here today. The short pass game seemed to be effective. It seemed to be working. If you can't run the ball, use the short passing game as a run substitute. And for whatever reason, he got away from that and aired the ball out 43 times. Grill. I always mess that name up. He said he already saw the games. Ferrari says the center. Yeah, it was Maurice Smith. Not true freshman. Redshirt freshman center played a hell of a game. So if that's not telling you that the offensive line is getting better and they're building something, Maurice Smith played a hell of a game. I thought the starters as a whole played a hell of a game. It wasn't until the injuries popped and we had to play Chaz Neal, which I'm not gonna not blame Chaz Neal, but also James Blackman, you have to be aware. Okay, that's a backup tackle. I see this guy play every day in practice. I know he's not that good. The whole fan base knows that Chaz Neal isn't good. They're probably gonna load that side and try to attack the guy that just came on the field. I need to be aware of that and get the ball out quick. Understand pressure's going to be coming from that side. Nope. James Blackman acting like he's got damn Orlando Pace on that side or something, So James Blackman's got to be aware of your weak link on the offensive line. It wasn't until they started bringing in I thought Brady Scott played serviceable as the 6th rotation guy, but it wasn't until they started bringing in those backup guys that offensive line started really having troubles. Maurice Smith played a good game, man. I like to be in the film room today. I hear the comments on Blackman's reads. Yeah, I'm very interested to wonder how Norvell handles that. I saw Norvell be a lot more animated at Memphis than he was yesterday. Now, I'm not one of those people that believe you have to be cussing and all that to be a good head coach and yelling and screaming. But it was interesting to me to see that Norvell was a lot more reserved on the sidelines than what I had seen from him at Memphis. Now, so I don't know if he's doing that because he's still trying to – because it's a new team and he doesn't want to lose – players, because unfortunately the fact of it is you probably are going to need James Blackman. Even if for whatever reason, let's say they make a switch for Miami, there's a good chance you're going to eventually have to resort back to James Blackman sometimes during the season. Maybe he just doesn't want to dig into James Blackman, but I think at this point something's got to be done on that one. Something's got to be done. Last night made us realize the team has a lot more work to be done. The solution will take much longer. Where were the 2 tight end sets? I saw a couple. They would put McDonald out there, and then they would put that walk-on. That walk-on seems like he's going to be the tight end in those sets. So I saw him out there. I saw that tight end out there a few times. I forget his name. Preston Daniels, right? I think I saw him out there a few times. Which QB should start? Seems like 3 bad options. I'm thinking Travis. I'm kind of thinking Travis too, only because I want to say Tate. I feel like if Tate had some mobile ability, I would go with Tate. I would go with the freshman because I think he has a good arm. It's hurt. The Purdy injury hurts a lot more than I think any of us really anticipated. Because I think most of us really thought we were going to get some development out of James Blackman. James Blackman and Warren Thompson are 2 guys that I think practice extremely well. If you watch the practice tape of those guys, you're like, ooh, Warren Thompson looks like Tarzan and plays like Jane. Same thing with Black. In practice, those guys look fairly decent, man, and they get on the game, and it just was bad business. All that tightening up that throwing motion and all that stuff we thought we saw from James Blackman in the fall camp completely went out the window when the bullets started flying. Again, at this point, I think Black is just damaged goods, and we have to move on from that because there's no improvement there. And we haven't even got to the defense yet. I thought the linebackers looked pretty good. We're going to struggle at the D end. Yeah. I thought the bright spots were the offensive line, which if you could – anybody think we'd be saying the offensive line was the best unit on the offense going into this season? I don't think anybody thought that, but they were. Linebackers after rewatching it, I was pretty high on the linebackers, and I'm still high on the young guys. The older guys, the Leonard Warners and the Emmett Rices, I think it might be time to move on from them guys. Those guys were missing gaps that redshirt seniors shouldn't be missing. And I feel like they weren't fast enough to get to the edge. I thought the upperclassmen linebackers didn't play that well. I thought the younger guys did. And maybe at some point we may need to move on from those guys and just play the young guys. I was really high on the linebackers last night. After rewatching the game, the linebackers were a mixed bag. There were some really bright spots, but there were some pretty glaring bad spots too, especially in the run game and containing the quarterback. So we're kind of 50-50 on that linebacker spot. Let me go back up. Thanks you guys for tuning in, man, on this the Sunday hangovers. Well, I'm gonna probably do this every Sunday after the games. But win, lose, or draw, we go in here and either celebrate or try to figure out how to move on going forward. Frank, what's going on, man? Travis should start. I think Travis. I'm kind of with you. Just go with Travis. Design a game plan around Travis, which would be running. That's what I think Miami's gonna do with King. And I'm not trying to bring Miami into the conversation, but I think they know King's limitations as a quarterback, and especially given his size. But Miami, I think, might actually run for like 200 to 300 yards a game this year, like 250 to 300 yards a game this year. Because D'Eriq King is an exceptional runner. We have a guy just like that, and he's actually bigger. Scheme the offense around him. That man can make 5-yard passes, 10-yard passes, screens, quick slants. You can't tell me you can't do all this talk about you developing the scheme around your players. Damn it, I want to see it, Mike Norvell and Kenny Dillingham. You can't tell me that you can't develop something around Jordan Travis. Ohio State did it around Braxton Miller. We've seen it in college of quarterbacks with limited throwing ability, but they could run the ball. And we've seen offenses schemed around those guys. Travis should probably get the start. And you have 2 weeks, Mike Norvell, to figure out who this quarterback is going to be. And if it's going to be Jordan Travis, you need to start implementing that new offense around him right now. You have 2 weeks to figure it out. Griffiths played all right for us. I thought Griffiths was solid. Griffiths flashed more. He didn't make huge plays, but I felt like he was always around the ball. He didn't make, the big sacks or anything. I always felt like Griffiths was in the area, affecting the play. He stood out more than Quayshawn Fuller did, in my opinion. What's up? What's going on, Rose? Appreciate y'all. Stuart, what's going on, man? We should have Jeff Sims. Yeah. Bad look for Norvell. That's another bad look for Norvell. In hindsight, now granted, we got to keep everything a buck and everything in perspective. If Purdy is healthy and playing this game, there's a chance that maybe we don't. That's a wash. I think Purdy does a lot of the things Jeff Sims does, if not better. Purdy's mobile. Purdy can throw. We didn't get to see that. Instead, we got to see a guy that we've seen be below average for like 30-plus starts here at Florida State, and we're still using them. I don't know why we keep expecting something different, but he is what he is. It doesn't look good. I think I said it last night. Maybe Mike Norvell should have let Rodemaker go and say, we'll take Jeff Sims and Chubba Purdy. Don't know how that conversation went, but it does look bad that you decided to take over a job, let a quarterback go who wanted to come here and was committed for so long. But he did bring in his own guys. Unfortunately, his main guy got hurt, so it's really hard to say. Who's going to start against Miami? No idea, New King. No idea, man. No idea. 45-3 Miami. Okay. Let's ignore that. I'd rather struggle with a young QB than a QB that continues to make the same mistakes. Yeah, I am not disagreeing with that, Chad, at all. At this point, man, look at the schedule. Y'all realize the schedule is – there's a good chance FSU could be like 1-4. We already lost to Georgia Tech. We got Miami, Jacksonville State, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the direct order of these games, but I think the next 3 games are like Louisville, UNC, and Notre Dame. I think that was like the next games are all like, holy cow. It ain't even got to Clemson yet. We could, unless they figure something, if you don't beat Miami, this thing goes downhill really quick. After thinking about it all night, this morning, I'm sympathetic to the time and miss camp and all the stuff due to the situation in the world. I just expected a pretty rapid turnaround. I expected a defensive game to some degree. I expected offensive struggles. What I'm not sympathetic to, I just can't use that excuse as about missing camp, because guess what? Georgia Tech missed camp too. Jeff Sims was a true freshman who did not have a spring. Yes, he was an early enrollee, but guess what? He didn't have a spring to practice. We can't use that excuse for us. Not all the teams that went through the same thing. Nobody had a spring. Everybody had a condensed fall camp. Everybody had to social distance and do Zoom meetings, or however that program decided to do it. I can't use that as an excuse, because it's not like FSU was in a unique situation where they were the only ones affected. Entire country was affected. You got to get over it. And at some point, you got to get on the field. You got to make some plays. You sick to the head thinking the Sugar Cane's going to put 45 on us. I'll tell you right now, I don't think let me tell you something. If Adam Fuller doesn't make adjustments on a running quarterback, I don't know if they can put 45. They can put 38. I don't give a damn about New King in Miami. He can, whatever. But just on some realistic stuff, if Jeff Sims, true freshman, can go for over 300 total yards on us, Derrick King could have a field day. And that's just unfortunate truth. Adam Fuller has 2 weeks to figure it out too. But we're going to get to the defense in a minute. I'm trying to catch up on some of the comments. 24-22 Miami. I'd be happy if we could put – that'd be an improvement from the Georgia Tech game, Frank. We have a better O-line and a QB, and you think we can't put up 45. Y'all let Williams put up 20. You talking about last year, homie. Get out of here with that. Move on. Move on from last year. If you want to go about last year, you acting like y'all didn't. What was the score that y'all lost to Georgia Tech by last year? Get out of here. We can go back and forth on this, but I ain't gonna turn this into an argue fest with. I'm just gonna put you in timeout because I'm sick of you talking. O-line was good until the injuries started. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. O-line was really good until the backups came in, and then it was like, ugh. The completely new staff is why I'm willing to say that was a factor. I understand the sentiments of that, but I don't know. Didn't Sims want a guarantee to start? I don't know how that conversation went between Sims and Norvell, honestly. Bro, nobody had an offseason. We've been in a pandemic. That's how I feel too, Rosa. I just feel like nobody's had an offseason. I mean, Miami broke in an entirely new offense. Grant, you still have Manny Diaz, but to me, that's not a plus. But let's go to – you talked about the receivers. Helton, man. Helton had one target for 3 yards. Yes, it was a touchdown. But again, I said, if you go back and watch that game, there are multiple plays where Helton is running wide open down the field, and I don't know why James Blackman didn't see him. I don't know. He's bad. James Blackman has terrible vision. He's not good at going through his progressions. We got to start facing the facts that maybe James Blackman just isn't that good of a quarterback, guys. Defensively, Ronaldo Green led the team in tackles, which is surprising to me because I didn't feel like I saw him a lot. But apparently, he had 6 tackles. Gaynor had 5 tackles and half a sack. Gaynor was, other than Sante Samuel, Gaynor was probably the second best player on that defense yesterday. I thought Gaynor showed up and showed out. Warner had 4 tackles. I already know about Sante. Sante had 4 tackles and 2 interceptions. Woodbay had 4 tackles. DeLoach had 4 tackles. Jaleel McCray had 3 tackles. Raymond Woody had a couple tackles. Steven Dix had a couple tackles. Coop had 2. Wilson had 2. Rob had 1 and 2 assists. Fuller had a tackle. Kendo, McClendon, Travis J, Dent, Becker, Jerry and Jones, all those guys had 1 tackle. Josh Griffiths had 2 assists. Emmett Rice. This is where I go to Emmett Rice. Not only do you drop an interception, I'm not going to hold that big against a linebacker. You play linebacker for a reason. But it was an interception that was very catchable, and you probably should have took that to the crib. But how does your starting senior linebacker have no tackles on the game? It's time to move on. Time to move on. How does your starting senior linebacker wearing number 1, Emmett Rice, have 0 tackles on the game and 2 assists? Bro, it's time to move on. Got to move on from Emmett Rice. Kick returns. Travis J was impressive. Averaged 25 yards a return. And a couple of those returns, I feel like he was a missed tackle away from breaking them. I think we're all going to be happy with Travis J and really excited at what he's going to provide on those special teams. And I think it's only a matter of time maybe before he becomes the full starter at safety as well. I thought growth is kicked the ball fairly well. He missed the field goal, but I feel like maybe he slipped on that one field goal he missed or something. Something looked off on it, but he nailed a 53-yarder. I think we're okay there. And Mastromano averaged 48 yards a punt. Dude's got a leg. Those Australian kickers always do the thing there, so it was good to see that. So special teams gets an A+. Special team was really the biggest bright spot. Can you stop? Special teams was really the biggest bright spot. Offensive line, again, I thought was the best unit on the offense until the injuries started. But when the 5 were in there, they were really good, I thought. And pass protection mainly. Thought they lacked a little. I thought they lacked getting a push in the run game. But one step at a time on that offensive line. Black had no excuses as far as the O-line goes. Every other position struggled offensively. Defensively, again, thought your defensive line did not play up to the standard we all were hyping them up, especially that interior. We knew the defensive ends were weak. Didn't help that Kando got cheap shotted. I think they need to review those. Plays like that need to be reviewed, man. That was a blatant cheap shot. Those should be treated like targeting fouls, in my opinion. If you see something like that, a guy should be ejected and 15 yards. Like, guy should be ejected for that. When Kando goes down, not saying Kando was getting much of a pass rush, but still, Kando goes down. We got even worse there. D-line interior didn't play up to par. I thought the young linebackers played well. I mean, you see, I go over the stats. The young backers were in there making tackles and making plays. Emmett Rice, again, your starting middle linebacker, 0 in the tackle spot. I don't know how that happens. And then again, I thought the secondary, other than Asante Samuel, a lot to be desired there as well. Let me go back to the comment. No, nobody had enough. Okay, I'm a Georgia Tech fan. Hello, Robert. How are you doing this morning? Well, for me, it's morning here in Hawaii, but how are you doing on this afternoon? When your backup QB was moving the ball from the 20 to about Georgia Tech's 45, I thought you guys were going to score. I was ecstatic when Blackman came back in. Yeah, that's a good point. That's when Jordan Travis was running the ball. It didn't make sense. I thought, so they brought Blackman in on an obvious passing situation on that drive to convert a third down. I thought after the third down, you would put Jordan Travis in the game and continue what you were working on. Again, I don't know what Mike Norvell saw in James Blackman to make him think you could throw the ball 43, 45 times with James Blackman and be successful. So blunder there by Mike Norvell. Let's hope he corrects that. Quite frankly, if you're going to continue with Blackman as your starter, you need to take 10 passes away. 43 was the number. I need that to be more like 30 and put 10 more running plays in there. Now, whether that's Wildcat, you can put Ja'Shawn Corbin back there in the Wildcat. If you can't line up traditionally and block somebody and get running lanes open, they had success when they ran the Wildcat. Is the Wildcat predictable? Yes. Everybody knows when you see the Wildcat what's going to happen, but it's a numbers game. And with the Wildcat, you can just flat out block more people and get positive yardage. So you need to take those 10 extra throwing plays and add them to the run game. Playing zone is not going to work for us. I never understood why a defensive coordinator comes to Florida State and plays zone. Didn't understand when Barnett tried to turn us to a cover 3 zone. Didn't understand when Charles Kelly got away from what Pruitt was doing and turned us into a zone team. And I don't understand Fuller there. And I don't understand Fuller. Go back, watch the game. When Fuller blitzed, we had a ton of success. I think everybody knows you have a freshman quarterback. Blitz him. We messed up when we only rushed 4 guys, play zone, and Sims had time to either run out the pocket and do his thing or find a hole in the defense. Blitz, 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 blitz. Every time we blitzed Jeff Sims, we had success. Again, why wasn't that adjustment made? I do not know, man. I do not know. Do you think we're going to have the same season since this thing's the same? I hope we don't have the same season, but from the looks of it, I don't see the schedule's tough. Unless we see a drastic 180 against Miami, I don't know, man. I don't know. Unless they decide you got to switch up the quarterback position, and then I think you can maybe have some success. I'm not trying to be all negative because there are building blocks. Flat off the bat, again, the offensive line. Also, we only had – let me look it up. I think we only had like 5 penalties for 50 yards. That is a huge improvement for Florida State. I don't know. I think we only had like 5 penalties, man, or something like that. For like 50 yards. I'm trying to find it. Because it wasn't on there what I just pulled up. So we definitely are improving in certain areas. We were on our heels. Thanks, Robert, man. Appreciate that. Blackman is probably a good practice QB, but in the game, that's what I'm saying. People are calling for Norvell to be fired. Yeah, I saw that. FSU fans aren't going to be very patient. So I get it. I don't agree with it or support it. I mean, I didn't call for Taggart to be fired after game 1. I do think there's things Norvell needs to do better. So last night I seemed like I gave him somewhat of a pass, and maybe I did. And going back and looking at it, I thought there's some things he's got to clean up from a play calling standpoint. You can't have Blackman throw 43 passes. You can't completely abandon the run game. So those things need to be fixed. And let's hope he does. Fuller is the one who I really thought dropped the ball, though. Because back to Mike Norvell in the offense, even though I thought James Blackman threw too many passes, and even though I thought we abandoned the run, we left so many plays on the offense that can you blame Mike Norvell? You can't blame Mike Norvell for Warren Thompson dropping 2 or 3 passes, to Marion Terry dropping a touchdown. You can't blame Mike Norvell that James Blackman couldn't stay in the pocket that was there and make passes, miss wide open Keyshawn Helton multiple times down the field, miss other wide open receivers. I think Jordan Young was open on a play. James didn't see him. It's easy to go, man, Norvell sucks. And then when you go back and watch a game, it's like the plays were there. The play calls were correct. The players didn't execute. That's what I do. I don't just come out and say, this guy sucks. Let's go back and watch and see what actually happened. If Chubba Purdy and not James Blackman plays yesterday and makes the plays that James couldn't make or didn't make, we're having a different tune. So the mistake Norvell made, in my opinion, is understanding James Blackman's weakness and taking the ball out of his hands and saying, when we had success on that first drive, you know why? Everything was quick decision-making. When you let James Blackman do a 3-5 step drop and have to scan the field, you've already lost that down. You've already lost. James Blackman needs to be making quick decision-makings or you've already lost the down. So it's up to Norvell to make that adjustment. and take the decision-making process out of Black's hands and say, quick pass, if it's not there, throw the ball away or run the ball. Something like that. But FSU need a quarterback, defense need a pass rusher. Yes, we do. New King is laughing at me. I'm surprised how bad y'all defense played. Y'all D-line defensive line didn't do jack. And you're right. Defense, you do too much soft coverage and let Sims just do what he wanted to do. Blackman is a good team guy, but it's time to sit down. Blackman, and it's hard talking about Blackman in a negative fashion for me because the dude's been a true Florida State Seminole since day one, and he's really been dealt the rough hand. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he's had the perfect situations. He had Jimbo Fisher he had 1 foot already out the door. Jimbo quit on the team in the university, and Black had to play through that. Then he gets a head coach in Willie Taggart, who in 2 straight years had 2 different offensive coordinators trying to run 2 different systems. At the same time, Taggart's trying to dictate the defense to run what he wants them to run instead of letting Harlan Barnett as a coordinator run what he's good at. So he had to deal with a lot. So really 2 piss-poor coaching staffs. You know what I mean? So I don't want to sit here, man, and I don't want to. Did Tom Brady just throw a pick? Yep, Brady just threw a pick. But I don't want to sit here, man, and just bash James Blackman. But at some point, it is what it is. And even with all that being said, he had plays to make and couldn't make them. He's damaged goods. He's just broken at this point. Nobody had an offseason. Yeah, I talked about that. Receivers needs to stop dropping the ball. Blackman missing open receiver. Yep. It was a collective blunder yesterday. It really was. But we're trying to figure out what needs to be improved. But I agree. Running the ball is the first improvement. Running the ball should be the first improvement going forward. And if you, like I said, if you can't line up in a traditional way and put a hat on a hat, then Wildcat it up. Jordan Travis in there. How cool would it be to see a backfield of Jordan Travis, Webb, and Corbin? That's a bunch of options right there where you can pull it, flick it out to I can come up with some stuff in my head that I think Norvell and these guys can do to get a running game going. I thought 91 made some good plays on D. Robert Cooper, I thought Coop played well. This is going to hurt with the recruits. Yeah, we haven't even got on the recruits yet, but we'll get in that in a minute, Joe. I don't think this is going to help recruiting. Depending. The chance right now, I give us a 0% chance right now. And the only reason I say 0% chance, again, I'll wait and see what Miami looks like against Louisville. But I'm only going to go off what I've seen. To me, Miami did not look good against UAB. I don't care what the Hurricanes say. But what was effective was De'Aaron King. When a play completely breaks down, the receivers can't get open and all of that, De'Aaron King can break a 20-yard run like that. I just saw a true freshman carve up FSU's defense on the ground. If you can't stop Sims, you're not going to be able to stop King. That's where I'm at with it. And the offense looked terrible. So I give us a 0. Tyler says 20. I understand it, but maybe I still got a little bit of emotions talking right now. But I just don't see where FSU is gonna, and then we don't have another game to judge off of. So maybe those 2 weeks they'll come up with a decent game plan. I mean, you'll have two weeks of game film on Miami. We'll see. We'll see what they come up with. Miami needs to worry about Louisville. I respect this guy. He tells it like it is, no bullshit. Miami going to beat Louisville. We'll see about Miami and Louisville. That should be a pretty solid game. NC State probably on next win. I ain't even looked at the entire schedule, but the immediate schedule don't look too hot for us. We have a rough schedule for sure. There's a chance we just had a bad game. But yesterday was far from reassuring. That's fair. That's fair, Tyler. Absolutely right. There's a chance that we just had a bad game. I would say to that, I think if you make proper adjustments and understand that we definitely left a lot of plays on the field, there's a good chance that we just had a bad game. I wish we had another game before Miami. I wish that Jacksonville State game was before Miami, so we can, one, get confidence, and two, work out whatever kinks was from the first game. I thought the Georgia Tech game would be would be like Jacksonville State, because Georgia Tech, everybody was picking them to be last in the ACC. So, that's not a good look. Louisville's defense will shut down Miami's offense. Miami didn't open the playbook against UAB. It was a base play and still ran for 300 yards. Well, y'all ran for 300 yards because y'all were physically more dominant than UAB. So I get all of that. Yes, the play calling I did think was very vanilla against UAB. But y'all could afford to do that because it was UAB. Granted, you guys don't have the best track record with when playing Conference USA teams. So it's good that y'all finally were able to beat one. But you should have been able to out physical and dominate UAB. So congratulations. Chubby suffered a broken collarbone, I believe. Yes, he did. And he recently had surgery. A second surgery on it, I believe. Actually, I'm hearing that he had to go back because of an infection, so it's going to put him out longer. I didn't expect Chubba Purdy to play this year anyway after hearing about the injury. So they got to figure out with what they have what to do. And it's the only thing that's keeping James Blackman relevant is that you got a quarterback who's a good runner but apparently can't throw, and you have a freshman who a lot of people think has the tools but probably isn't ready right now to be the guy. There's a reason why Rodemaker, I know everybody wants to see Rodemaker, but there's a reason why he was a 3-star. I don't know. You hear all the time of the 5 stars or even the top 4-star quarterback coming in and starting right away. Can anybody give me an example of a 3-star true freshman coming in, playing week 1 and being successful? I don't know any. I'm not saying you take all those star rankings to the bank, but they do mean a little bit. And I can't think of a 3-star. Now, I can think of 3-star quarterbacks who ended up being very good, like an Andrew Luck, Marcus Mariota. But those guys were redshirted and had time to develop. I can't think of one 3-star that was thrust in the fire week 1, game 1, and turned out to be a good quarterback. I can't think of one. But if you can, let me know. If y'all put a Rodemaker out there, it's going to get killed. That I agree too, Joe. I don't think you go. Jeff Sims was a 4-star. Jeff Sims was definitely a 4-star. But, yeah, I don't think you can go with Rodemaker either. The Saints scored again. So, my Bucks are losing. Hopefully we get to see some Jameis today. So, Jameis can – I don't want the Bucks to lose, man, but it's messed up how they did Jameis. Jameis leaves, and then the Bucks bring in all of these weapons. They signed Fournette, McCoy, drafts offensive linemen. When Jameis was there, they did none of that. So we'll see. We'll see. Getting off topic. If y'all start Tate, his statue Miami will kill him behind that O-line. The O-line wasn't bad, New King. Y'all can keep talking about the O-line, but again, if you actually watch a football game, offensive line wasn't an issue, period. So I don't want to hear about the O-line. O-line vastly improved. Again, we had a guy on the offensive line grade out in the 80 percentile on the offensive line. So don't tell me the offensive line was bad. Offensive line had nothing to do with yesterday. He can't throw, and Miami will crowd the line. But Rodemaker can throw. I just don't think he probably is physically ready. Mr. Polk, his is Miami, Jacksonville State, Notre Dame. Yeah, look at that first. Look at those games. Pitt is supposed to have a really good team this year. So if you lose to Miami, obviously you'll win against Jacksonville State. You're talking about Notre Dame, UNC, Louisville, Pitt. Well, FSU won't be favored in any of those games. You could legit be looking at what 1-1, 2, 3, 4, 1-6. Then you go 2-6 if you beat NC State. Then you're 2-7 and beat Clemson. Man, you're looking at a 3-4 win game, a 3 or 4 win team this year. It's really ugly looking. But I don't think we'll lose all of those games. I don't think we'll lose. We beat Louisville the last 2 years. Regardless of what Miami fans think, I said 0%, but at the end of the day, my tune is going to change by next week because it's a rivalry game, and we'll see what's going on there. But Sims was a 4-star. You look at his composite ranking, Jeff Sims was a 4-star. I don't know what rankings you guys go off. I go off the composite. Jeff Sims was a 4-star, and our O-line was good. And to speak on Jeff Sims, it's not even like Jeff Sims was really good yesterday. He threw some. I predicted he was going to throw us 3. He threw us 2. It should have been 4. We dropped 2. And on those interceptions, Jeff Sims was really bad. Like it was nothing that Adam Fuller did on defense. Jeff Sims just threw some really poor balls. So while I thought Jeff Sims did a great job of taking what the defense gave him and, keeping it. The one thing that I guess you would say that was most impressive about Jeff Sims, which is the complete opposite of Black, is Jeff Sims threw those bad interceptions and never once lost composure. They would show him on the sideline and he'd just be sitting there chilling. Never seemed like he was rattled or frustrated or flustered. James Blackman, as soon as he makes a mistake, was banging on the ground, like doing what the same things Blackman does, while Jeff Sims was just cool, calm, and collective the whole time. That was impressive to me. So I would be impressed by that if we're talking about Jeff Sims. I didn't think Jeff Sims was overly impressive with throwing the ball or anything like that, but he did a great job of taking what the defense gave him. The offensive coordinator did a great job of calling a game plan around Jeff Sims' skill set, and Jeff Sims himself did a great job of keeping his composure even when things got rough for him. So that's good. That was good stuff by Jeff Sims. King is gonna kill y'all. Okay. We'll see. Georgia Tech didn't have 2 of their starters on the D line, and y'all still could score. It had nothing to do about the offensive line. Regardless of who they were missing on the defensive line, had nothing to do with our offensive line. We couldn't score because James Blackman couldn't make plays. That's why we couldn't score. Had nothing to do with the offensive line. How do you not put a spot? Yeah, that's what I said, Tyler. At what point does Adam Fuller not make that adjustment and go, okay, let's blitz Sims early and often, and when we're not going to blitz him, we need to spy him with Gaynor or Deloach or somebody like that. Fuller never made those adjustments. Don't understand it. Joe just says FSU. Oh, 247, 25 ranked class, 0 5 stars, 4. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Sims had a better game than Black. Yeah, even with the 2 picks, I thought Sims just played a better composed game. Jack, we said it before, or I said it in my preview. And I said it before the game. When things go bad for Black, is he going to resort back to what he is? And when things go bad for Black, they take a complete nosedive. Black is not – things can't go bad and he just bounce back and then it goes straight down in the toilet. And that's exactly what happened. Things went bad for Black and it just went straight into the toilet. Do you think it was Adam Fuller for the defense and play, or y'all just not good on that side of the ball? Well, it's hard to say because you had your defensive coordinator made adjustments and then the adjustments didn't work. Then I would be like, okay, we need to find some new players. Do I think there's spots that we're weak in on the defense? Sure, I do. Again, defensive end, think we're weak at. I think our star linebackers are the weak ones. Where I think the backup linebackers are probably better than the starters, but for whatever reason they want to stick with the starters. And I think, y'all saw Asante Samuel. You can't say nothing bad about him, but I think maybe there might be a couple other guys in that defensive backfield that are a bit overrated. And not having Hamza. If you had Hamza out there, that's probably who you use to spy Jeff Sims. If Hamza can play against Miami, that'd be a huge boost for us because you can throw him on De'Aaron King. So not having Hamza out there hurt. I think there's a couple overrated guys on that defense. Corey Durden, supposed to be the second best D tackle on the roster, didn't do nothing. So, yeah. Do we have holes or not holes, but do we need better play? Sure, but you also need a coordinator to make adjustments. So when the coordinator fails to make the adjustments, I will go off coaching first. Then we'll talk about the players. Pray Fuller doesn't pan out like Coach Kelly. I want Fuller to be better than Coach Kelly, obviously. He's got to make the adjustments. Those are the 247 breakdowns for your 25 rank. Yeah, I already know about our class. Not the fact that we even ranked 25 is impressive to me. We'll see how that ends up. A lot of Noles feel the brand holds weight. At one time, it did. Not anymore. Joe, get out of here. The brand doesn't hold weight. Yet with 3 straight bad years, somehow we're still ranked 25 in recruiting. We're still in the top 5 for Amarius Mims. Just stop. We talking, but you got to talk real. Because if that's the case, Miami's brand hasn't held weight in the last 20 years. But see, I'm smart enough to know that the U still is always going to mean something, even if the team isn't that good. So when you sit here and say the brand doesn't hold weight anymore, get out of here. You act like we've been down for 20 years, like y'all have. We ain't been down that long. We've been down for 3-4 years. What are we, 5-6 years removed from a national championship? Stop with the foolishness. That spear hold more weight than that U. I guarantee you that. All right, Todd, thanks for tuning in. I thought Woodbay was absent. Didn't see a lot of Woodbay at all. Thought Woodbay could have did a lot more on the field. You think it was Adam Fuller's fault for the defensive player? Yeah, that one. So, yep. So this is the Sunday hangover, man. But that's the past, what y'all say we live in. Y'all do live in the past. Every time you get in a debate with a Miami fan, they bring up 5 championships. Y'all do live in the past. You just went 6-7 last year. You do live in the past. Like, what are you talking about? We know, everybody knows Miami lives in the past. I only bring up that things to say because you say the brand holds no weight, which is a ridiculous statement to say that Florida State holds no weight. But you will sit here and claim that the U still holds weight when FSU has had more success in that same time span than Miami has. Miami is 1-9 in their last bowl game. Their last 9 bowl games, or last 10 bowl games they played, and y'all are 1-9, and you're going to sit here and tell me that the U holds more weight than FSU? Stop. So don't accuse me of living in the past when that's all your fan base does is live in the past. And now you have a top 10 class in a pandemic year. Congratulations. If you don't think that the pandemic has a lot to do with y'all's recruiting of South Florida, then you're wrong. Because you look at all the top talent around the nation, a lot of these kids are staying home now because it's just more convenient that way. But congratulations. I haven't knocked Miami's recruiting. It's good to see some South Florida kids finally wanting to play for y'all. Congratulations. Now let's talk about all the South Florida kids that decided not to play for y'all over the years, like the Dalvin Cooks and the Amari Coopers, and we can go on and on and on and on. But congratulations. You guys are finally recruiting South Florida again. See, we can do this all day with y'all because I can go all day with these Miami fans because y'all ain't got a history since 2001. You ain't been nothing. You got nothing to talk about. You're getting good. I won't even say you're getting good. You're recruiting well now, and now y'all feel like y'all on top of the damn world. Congratulations. I'm not knocking the recruiting. I'm one of the few people that I like to see Florida kids stay home. I'm happy to see that those South Florida boys want to make the crib great again. And that's honest to God. I hate seeing Patrick Surtain go to Alabama, Amari Cooper go to Alabama, Tyson Campbell go to Georgia. I hate seeing that crap. So I'm glad you guys are getting guys to stay home. Just hold on to those recruits because they're still a whole long time away from National Signing Day. Just hold on to them is all I'm saying. But congratulations. The U does hold weight. Okay, it holds weight. Congratulations. I've never said the U doesn't hold weight. I know it does. Maybe not as much weight as you think, but it still means something. Does the U hold the same amount of weight that it used to hold nationwide? No, it doesn't. But in the state of Florida, it damn sure does. And good job of keeping the guys home. That's where you start. You start by keeping guys home. Y'all blaming COVID, but the Tallahassee kids are leaving y'all. Explain that. The Tallahassee kids aren't going far, though. Do you know how close Tallahassee is to Alabama? If you're talking about Mark Harvey, who decided to go to Auburn, that's the only Tallahassee kid. And we have Terry Arnold, who hasn't made a decision yet. So we don't know what's going on with Terry Arnold yet. So one Tallahassee kid decided Auburn. Next. Bama's always gonna steal. Bama's coming down there. Of course they're gonna get guys, but can you keep the top guys? A lot of Miami fans weren't born. A lot of these guys weren't born when Miami was good. I know that. That's why it's hard to even argue with them. I've been alive to see every one of Florida State's national championships. A lot of these guys only know about the Willis McGahee Hurricanes and all of that. They don't know about a lot of these things. Hell, they're talking like a lot of these guys don't even remember. They're talking about this recruiting class like it's all-time great. A lot of these guys don't even remember Randy Shannon signing like the number one. That year, Ja'Cory Harris came out with all those boys from Miami Northwestern. That was like a top 3 class. And what did Miami do with that class? They did nothing. But it was a top 3 class. A lot of these guys don't even know about that or remember it. Randy Shannon was out there recruiting top classes at Miami, and what did it amount to? Not a damn thing. So we can talk about recruiting all day. Miami's still going 6-7, losing to FIU and Louisiana Tech and Georgia Tech. But again, like I said, I can do this all day with Miami because y'all give me a lot of ammo to work with. Randy Shannon did shit the bed with that class, but the point is he recruited it. You think Manny Diaz is going to do any better? Serious question to Miami fans. What have you seen from Manny Diaz to make y'all think he's going to be a good head football coach? I'm not arguing either, bro. I'm just talking. We just talking sports. And see, all New King can talk about is the 4P. Congratulations. If you follow the rivalry, you know that this is what the rivalry does. They go back and forth. Miami are going a streak. Florida State are going a streak. Go back and look at the history of the rivalry. That's how the rivalry works. So, I mean, that's what's up. Not a big deal to me. I understand where we are. Y'all are so happy about beating Florida State at their worst level. I do have more respect. I've always had more respect for the Hurricanes than the Gators. So again, we just talking. No argument. We just talking. And I done turned into a Miami podcast. And we just talking. Miami had the number 1 class in 2008 and was still trash. That's probably the Randy Shannon class I'm talking about, Rose. But that's, again, there's recent history of Miami recruiting well and still not doing anything with it, is all I'm saying. But I've never said that Miami doesn't, the U doesn't hold any weight. I think people recognize it when they see it. So if you don't think people recognize that damn spear or the Seminole head, if you don't think people recognize that when they see it, I think you're just trying to throw shade just to throw shade. Yes, Manny will do better. Only reason why Shannon failed is because he kept changing coordinators. Manny just changed coordinators. What are you talking about? So if this offense doesn't work, when you have De'Aaron King, so what are you guys going to do after De'Aaron King? Because you still have Perry on the roster. Who's the number one? You guys got a quarterback in the class? Who's the target quarterback? I'm asking a serious question here. Because you're saying that Randy just kept changing coordinators when Diaz just changed coordinators. 1 year of Enos and he just changed coordinators. Like, come on, man. Y'all got to come better. Y'all got to come better with that. But I've been on here for an hour. Hit that like, man. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna get out of here. I always like, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I always put up with you Miami fans when y'all come through. I like arguing with y'all sometimes. I straight up block Gator fans. I despise anything that is the Gators. But I put up with y'all for whatever reason. So respect to y'all. Y'all can come up here and talk trash. I don't care. I just talk trash back. But thanks for tuning in, man. This was the Sunday Hangover. We talked a little bit about Florida State and what we need to do going forward and the debacle that was the Georgia Tech game. Don't worry, Miami. We'll see y'all in 2 weeks. And I'm going to have a different energy in these 2 weeks. I'm still a little bit reeling after this game, but Norvell got to figure it out. But thank y'all, man. Hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. It's your boy, Polk County Noel. Thank you, Joe, bro. I appreciate that. But it's your boy, Polk County Noel. Y'all stay classy, Seminoles. Y'all stay grumpy, Hurricanes. And we out here. Y'all have a good Sunday.